We're back. We've got ourselves another deck box here to look at. This one is actually called a storage box by the brand. By a brand we've looked at before here very recently. Here we are. We got an Ultra Gi deck box. But this one is a little bit different. The one we looked at previous, which is right here, is more of a kind of an upright sort of deck box. This one is more of a side load. As you can see, it's a little lower profile, a little lower to the ground. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. We're going to see if it's any good, and we're going to see if it's actually worth your money. So yeah, let's go ahead and break this thing open. Again, this was sent to me for free in exchange for an honest review. So how do I want to open this? Because I hate it when they put these giant things of tape on this, because it's always a pain in the butt to try and get it loose. And I don't want to tear at it too much, because I don't want to accidentally warp the box or something. I also don't want to tear it. Here we go. A little better. Yeah, I end up having to just destroy the plastic anyway. So let's close that. Okay. I'm gonna have to end up just tearing this up. All right, so let's bring it there. Ooh, that's an interesting kind of feel to it. All right, let's take a look here. It's fairly lightweight. There's not a lot of weight to it. At first glance, it actually looks pretty nice. It's got kind of a almost like a lambskin sort of feel to it. Yeah, that's not the regular PU leather. It's kind of really soft. Doesn't feel very grippy at all. In fact, yeah, I can't really pick it up just from the deck box. It's very smooth. Doesn't have a lot of grip on it. So that's kind of interesting. There's the embossing there on the front. Feels okay. Not exactly sure what this emblem is, but yeah, that's just at a glance very interesting there. Okay, so let's kind of give it a quick overview here. Let's take a look at our stitching, which does stand out because it is a contrasting color. It's kind of like a silver gray kind of color. So let's see, looks good there. Good there. There. Got a little bit of a double stitch, but that's normal. Over here on the side, looks pretty good. And that looks pretty good as far as stitching. Oh, we got a little bit of a... Is that glue? What is this? Something. It did come off, but it's... Well, no, that's still there. Okay, it's like a bit of... I think what it is that I'm pulling off here, I'm not sure if you can see that on my finger, but it looks like it's a bit of that foiling that's used in the stamping here that just kind of got loose and it just kind of stuck to the box there. Okay, I think that's what that is. Interesting. All right. But the stitching itself looks fine. Let's go ahead and open this thing up and we'll check our magnets. We do have a little bit of a thing here. And let's take a quick test of our magnets. Little weaker than I would hope, considering that if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is 8 magnets on the flap. But yeah, they feel a little on the weak side. Okay. Are there 8 magnets? Yes, there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we do have 8 magnets there. Okay, this does open up all the way. And we do got our little silica gel. Do not eat this, kids. And we've got some regular old dividers. We'll set those aside for now. Okay, so now we've got this thing open. Let's take a look at the front so I can take a look at some stitching here that I didn't see before. That stitching looks just fine. We'll take a look at the flap. That stitching also looks good. It does have that soft felt there. And we'll take a look at the stitching here on the back. A little bit of an excess glue right here. Stitching looks mostly okay, although it kind of freaks out here on that corner. You see that? Kind of turns a little bit, which is not necessarily bad, but it just looks a little strange. Oh well. All right, so let's take a look in here. I've got a little bit of a bump right there. See how clear that comes out on camera. A little bit of a bump right there, like it's not properly glued down. Yeah, it looks a little wrinkled in there. Again, I'm not sure how clear that comes out on camera, but it looks a little wrinkled in there. Same thing over here. Yeah, that you can see a little easier on camera. There's a couple of very noticeable wrinkles there, which is unfortunate. So yeah, it didn't glue down quite right there. Let's check the edges. Got a little bit of excess glue that I just wiped off right there. Again, some more of that kind of loose foil right there. Got a little bit of an edge issue. Not too bad. little bit of excess glue right over here as well. A little bit of extra foiling. But overall, that actually looks pretty good. It looks fairly clean. Could be cleaner. Looks fairly clean, though. So not too bad. Yeah, oh wow, I just noticed this too. Again here on the back, because on the front end, we saw that there was some wrinkling right in there. Gosh, I got that shadow there. I'm trying to work. There we go. Got a little wrinkling there. It has it here on the back as well. More wrinkling. So yeah, they definitely could have done better with getting this little felt lining glued down to this deck box. They definitely need to work on that, so I'm gonna have to probably count off a bit for that. If it was just one section, I'd probably be like, no big deal, but it's on 3 different parts of the inner lining, so at some point you got to start counting off for that. I did also just notice a little bit of excess glue down there, so a little messy in the construction. They definitely got to improve on that. Let's check the outer flap, because again, with some of these deck boxes, they tend to kind of curl up and bubble up here. This one doesn't seem to really do that much. In fact, it doesn't look like it does it much at all. Just a little bit here. Very, very slight. But overall, looks pretty good. I wish I had that other... Where's that other deck box? Here we go. I'll show you what I mean for those of you who may not have seen my other videos where I'm talking about this sort of bubbling that comes up here. Here's another deck box that I looked at recently that it does have an issue with this flap. See how it kind of bubbles up there? I'm not sure, again, how clear that comes out on camera, but there's a bubble right here on this little flap. And same thing right here. But, of course, this is a different type of material. So it does kind of play into the fact that just certain types of materials don't really work good with deck boxes that fold all the way out like this. And, yeah, that's why you've got kind of that bubbling effect that you see right there, which is... I did take off when I rated this particular deck. I did take off for that because it just simply doesn't look pretty. Yeah, looks kind of eh, but this one doesn't have that problem. This one actually looks pretty darn good. So, set you aside. So the flap itself looks pretty good, not bad. Let's see, let's go ahead and do some measurements here. Let me grab our micrometer. And let's do some quick inside measurements. All right, so first one we've got here is about 90, that's a bit of a, there we go, 94 millimeters. And then we're going to do this part here as well. That is about 80.6. So that's your inner part there as far as measurements go. Let's close this all the way back up. Let's see how tall this thing is. I want to make sure we got this all good and lined up. Looking at about 80.4. As far as how wide it is, make sure that's lined up fairly well. 104.7. All right. As far as how deep, looking at about... Squeeze a little bit more out of this. Wow. Dead on 100. All right. So those are your measurements. All right. So next test, we got to see how many cards can we squeeze in this thing. I'm saying this is going to squeeze at least 130. That's just a guesstimate, but I'm pretty confident in that number just from me eyeballing it here. Again, this is 100 cards, single sleeved. The size of a standard commander deck. This should fit in here just fine without a problem. There you go. Look at that. So easily fits in 100 single-sleeved cards. Got plenty of room there. Definitely got lots and lots of wiggle room there. Let's break out my secondary deck, which is 60 cards single-sleeved, but I do have it divided here. So this is 30 cards. And this, I have a feeling, should fit in here just fine. And it does, yeah. Still got a little wiggle room, so it easily fits 130. Do we want to stretch it out? Let me see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, this is going to be 140 cards. We're just trying to max it out at this point. Let's see. Can I easily get 140 in there? Ooh, it's a little... Oh, we got it. Oh, look at that. 140 cards. Yeah, at that point, it's pretty snug. I wouldn't really, you probably could sneak in a couple more cards if you really wanted to, but 140 is about where I would max it out at myself. So yeah, 140 cards easily. Yeah, that's pretty darn good there. Let's go ahead and pull these out. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do a quick magnet test with just the 100 cards. Okay, so again, just a standard commander deck. We're going to close this on up. We're going to test how strong these magnets are. Now, if you remember, I did say I had a little, as far as the magnets, they did feel a little weak to me. But we're going to go ahead and do a shake test. Just kind of simulate what you may or may not be doing, you know, with your deck boxes. You may be walking around with it, stuck them in a backpack or something, or maybe they actually just drop and fall. But we're going to test and see how well these magnets hold up. We're going to give this a good shake. We're going to start very, very light, and then we're going to work our way up until it finally does fail. So here we go. Shake test, 100 cards, single sleeved. We're going to start off real light here. Okay, we'll get a little more aggressive now. Oh, there we go. Okay, so that felt about average to me. We're going to do it one more time. But yeah, that felt pretty average to me there. So we're going to give it one more go. Make sure it's all in there. All right, make sure it's on there good and tight. Okay, again, we're going to start light and we're going to work our way up. Here we go. Get more. Oh, there we go. I was about to say getting more aggressive now. So I would say these magnets are about average. Not great, but in most normal use cases should probably be just fine. So, yeah, these magnets, they get a pass, but like I said, nothing terribly exceptional about them at all. Again, quick overview. What do I think about the deck box? It's actually pretty good. I like this deck box. It fits 140 cards, single sleeve. That's, I mean, just the capacity itself, pretty darn impressive. Again, the embossing is okay. Not terribly impressed with it, but it does look kind of nice, I guess. Got kind of like a weird sort of effect there. Yeah. And I'm not sure how many of y'all can actually see it there, but I'm seeing kind of a reverse image in this. I'm seeing sort of a flower right here, but if you look at it from a very particular angle, I actually see a skull. Like right here and here are eyes, and then this looks like a mouth. That could just be me, but it looks sort of like a skull. It's one of those things where you don't notice it until you finally do, and then you can't unsee it. So it's a little weird. But the actual feel, the texture, like I said, is very smooth. It doesn't have really much grip to it. But overall, I would say this is actually a pretty good deck box. It's pretty good. I'd actually be pretty happy with this. If I bought this deck box and I used it for a commander deck or a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh, or a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh decks, or even a couple of Pokemon decks, I would be actually pretty happy with it. So this one, when I compare it to this other one from Ultra Gi, I would say this one is actually better. This one is far superior. I would go with this one. The magnets are not as strong as this one, but it also could be part of the design. I've noticed that these that are kind of the stand-up sort of deck boxes, when you have this longer flap, usually that helps the magnets out to hold a little bit more, just simply because of the angle here. So these side-loaded ones, I would say it's actually better. If I had to choose between these two, I'm going with the side-load one. Better capacity, good enough magnets, really nice looking stitching. The coloring looks really, really nice. Like I said, the biggest issues are going to be the wrinkling on the inside. Ultra Gi, you gotta step it up here. You gotta do a little bit better there, because the insides definitely look kind of eh. I know most people will probably never really pay too much attention to the inside, but that's still something I gotta point out here. One other thing I wanted to mention is there are no magnets here on the back side. Just in case I wasn't clear about that, there's no magnets here. It just flaps loose. So yeah. But yeah, this deck box pretty darn good. I would say I would probably recommend this. If you're looking for a deck box that has some really, really good storage, it's side load, has a decent enough little design on it, and actually looks pretty good and is well constructed with good enough magnets, this one, yeah, this is pretty darn good. I would say, yes, go ahead and go buy this one if you're looking for a deck box. But thanks for checking out the video, guys. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share all that other good stuff. Again, I do get a majority of this stuff sent to me for free in exchange for an honest review. I'll always mark that or at least mention it verbally just to kind of give you all full clarity of how I'm getting these products. And again, these companies, they don't ever pay me in cash or anything like that. If they ever did, I would make mention of that. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that other good YouTuber stuff. We'll see you next time.